Today's daf is daf nun. We're going to begin on daf mem tes amud beis, the last line, in middle of the line itmar. We're going to now bring different machlekes in regards to the shibud of a guarantor. When a guarantor promises that he's going to give and back up the loan, what is the status? So now the Gemara says itmar, it was stated oriv haksuba, when it comes to a guarantor of a ksuba, divrei hakel, everyone will agree, le mishtabed, that the actual oriv does not take responsibility for the payment of the ksuba. And the reason is, like Rashi says, choda the oriv ba'almahu. First of all, he's only a oriv, he's only a guarantor. Lav midi chaser klum mishallah. Like we're going to learn as well is that he did not cause any damage. When somebody becomes a oriv, first of all, he does not have in mind to actually pay the chayv. He didn't actually take the guarantee, like we're going to learn in regards to a kablan. Kablan, when it comes to, he does take a guarantee. In addition to that, a woman to not lose any money from him being an oriv. And he doesn't have any hana from what he's being semech as an oriv. Okay, so that's what the din is. Itmar, we learned, when it comes to a guarantor of ksuba, divrei hakel mishtabed, everyone will agree that a person who signs on a ksuba does not take responsibility for the payment of the ksuba. However, when it comes to a kablan debalchayv, when it comes to an actual kablan is like an unconditional guarantor, divrei hakel, everyone will agree mishtabed that when it comes to a kablan, and he signs on a chayv, so this person now tells the malva that he's going to take responsibility, an unconditional guarantor for the repayment of the balchayv. So divrei hakel mishtabed, everyone will agree that he has to pay the responsibility. Now, oriv the balchayv, what if this person becomes an oriv for a balchayv, or the kablan the ksuba, or it becomes now a kablan for the ksuba? So now, what's the status? So pligi, that's going to be the machlekes. Some people hold that afal gav the lesle nichse leleva. Some people hold that although the borrower does not have property of his own at the time of the loan, nevertheless, mishtabed. So even though the borrower does not have any property of his own at the time of the alva, the guarantor becomes responsible for payment of the obligation. However, and other people say that that if the leva had karka, then he's mishtabed. However, if he does not have property of his own, he does not become responsible. So what's the halacha b'chulu in all the cases? Even though the obligated party does not have property of his own at the time, nevertheless, he assumes responsibility. The guarantor assumes responsibility of payment of the obligation. Except in the case of being a order for the ksuba, that afal gav the islay, even though the husband has property of his own when he gives the ksuba, the guarantor does not become responsible for the payment of the obligation. The Gemara says, my time. What's the reason for this? So the Gemara says, mitzvah hu da'avid. He is, his kavana is that he's performing a mitzvah of getting people to marry, and he never truly intended to obligate himself to pay the money. And nevertheless, as well, and this is what Rashi said before, midi chasra, and also the woman does not lose anything in exchange for which the guarantor would accept responsibility. The husband does not borrow money from the woman, therefore the chachamim made a takana that the guarantor, the oriv, does not become responsible for payment of the ksuba from his own property. Now the Gemara goes back to what we said before, Marzutras paskind, that a grusha, when it comes to a divorcee, she collects her ksuba from karka beininis, of the husband. So now the Gemara is going to bring a raya neged what Marzutra said. So Omer Ravina says, Toshma, come, I'll bring you a raya mikora de ta kantin, from the beginning of the takana. In other words, the beginning of the takana, that a woman it collects her ksuba from ziburis, like within the Braisa, the more than a man wants to get married, a woman wants to be married. In other words, like we said, that there's no need for a woman to collect her ksuba from beinis, because a woman is happy to get married, and she'll be happy even to collect just from the ziburis, just the fact that she's married. That's what the Braisa says. Now, what does Ravina say? And if you will think that we said that a woman collects her ksuba from ziburis only in a case where she's collecting ksuba from the yisayimim, so hai mishum the yasmihu. So this she collects from ziburis is mitam that we're talking about, that she collects from yisayimim, not because the woman wants to get married. In other words, the Braisa says that what's the reason? It's nothing to do. It has to do because she's collecting from the yisayimim. So what do we see from this Braisa? That we're saying the reason of the takana why she collects from the ziburis is because isha retzeli nasa. And this takana was said not only in regards to a ksuba yisayimim, but every woman who gets divorced, she should collect only from the ziburis, not like Marzutra said. Now, the Gemara says to you, to the Marzutra, this is a raya that Ravina brings to the Braisa is against Marzutra. So Gemara says to you, to Taka, you're right, and it comes out that a woman who's divorced, who collects her ksuba from her husband, only collects from the karka of ziburis, of his ziburis. Now the Gemara says, the Gemara brings right off from the Mishnah that we only collect from the Yisayimim, we collect from Yisayimim only from Karka Ziburis. So Marzutra b'reided of Nachman, Shmeidet of Nachman, Marzutra, the son of Rav Nachman, said the name of Rav Nachman, Shtar Choiv, Hayetze al Yisayimim, when there's a malva, it brings a document that shows that the father of these Yisayimim owed him money. So now he wants to collect from the nechasim that the Yisayimim yashint. So he says that afal pi shekasu by shrach, even if the shtar wrote a shrach, which means that the halva was a tanai that the malva is giving, but he says that I'm going to collect from your idius if you don't pay back. So the din is einegave elam in ziburis. So from the Yisayimim, he could only collect from the ziburis, even if the shtar stated clearly that he has every right to collect from the idius. So that's what, so again, now what's a raya to this? Abaya says, Teida, you should know, I'll bring you a raya. That when you collect from the Yisayimim, it's only from ziburis, it's a case where even if there's a Tanai Mefurish. The Baal Chayv, we know the din is that a Stam Baal Chayv dinik bevenis. The Stam Baal Chayv, he collects from the Beinis, as we explained in the Mishnah. Yasmi b'ziburis, and when it comes to collecting from the Yisayimim, he collects from the ziburis. Now, so it comes out that even when there's a Tanai Mefurish that he's going to collect from the idius, when he collects from the Yisayimim, clearly says, the Braisa says, is that miyasmin b'ziburis. So now the Gemara is going to ask on this raya. So again, Abaya brought a raya that the Braisa says the Baal Chayv dini b'veinis miyasmin b'ziburis, even when you say a Tanai Mefurish. So now, Rav asks Abaya, Hochi Ashta, could you compare the two cases? Baal Chayv dine mid'iraisa b'ziburis. Min hatera, a Baal Chayv, the Torah says, only collects from ziburis. Kidu Ula, as Ula said. Amr Ula, the Ula said, Dvar Teda, Baal Chayv b'ziburis. Min hatera, the Baal Chayv collects only from ziburis of the Leva. Shenemar, as it says, the Pasuk says, in regards to Amashkin, that the Leva gave to the Malva, what does the Pasuk say? Bachutz tameid va'ish. Full Pasuk says, Bachutz tameid va'ish, asher atanesha beyetzi elecha sa'ovid achutza. So who has to give the mashkin? The Leva is the one which is kevea, which mashkin to give. Now, ma'adaka shel ish lahitzi. So now he asks, what would a man usually take as a mashkin? So he says that madagar shel ish lahetzi poches shebekilim. So uma tam amru b'alchei bebenis. So now, what would a man ordinarily take as a pledge? The least valuable of his kelim. So what do we see from here? That the balcheiv is entitled only to the least valuable of the kelim of the leva. So when he collects from the land, he also collects from the benis. Now, so the question is, umatam amru b'alchei bebenis. So if so, why did the Chacham say that a balcheiv gets benis? Kidei shlitin al delas b'fnei loven. And the reason for this is that the person we should not lock the door before potential borrowers, so that people will not refrain from extending loans. And with regards to Yusemim, the Chachamim left the halacha as stated in the Torah. So what his question is, in other words, what raya could you, a buyer, bring for the Mishnah to Reb Nachman? The Mishnah, we don't find that the Chachamim were being mafkia the din of the Balcheiv to say that you could collect from less. So Elahacha would hear the Tanai hears as a keeping the din of Midiraisa B'idis, since the halacha, the halacha Torah says B'idis after the Miyasmi Nami B'idis. The Chayra here also, when it comes to the orphans, when collecting, it should be B'idis. So the Gemara asks Rava, and according to Rava, Tani Avram Chayzo, it says Enifraim Menichsi Yisem Elav Min HaZiburis Afilu Hein Nizakin, that when you come and collect payment from the Yisemim, it's only from Ziburis, even in a case even in the case that and this applies even if the property is collected for payment to injured parties. But we know that Midiraisa they get idis. So we see that even by Torah, the collecting should be from idis. The Chacham instituted that one may collect from Yisemim only from idis. So Marianne says, "This is how come I ask when we talk about because Jay says idis the nizik ziburis the mazik." Talking about here in the case that the superior quality land of the injured party is equal to the quality to inferior quality land of the one who caused the damage. In other words, the Yisemim and the one who caused the damage also has the land of Idis. And Rabbi Shmuel said, we have this already that they said that we're going to go according to the Mazik. And with regards to orphans, the Chachamim left the halacha as stated in the Torah. For the Mar'ini is so Vatani Rabbi Lazar Neisa in Ephraim Nechsis El Mene Ziburis. Afilu Hein Idis. My Afilu Hein Idis. Lav Aval Gav Diksib Idis B'Shtara. The question is, we know that the Chayv can be collected only from the property of the orphans from the Idis, even if it is Idis. So we want to ask, what does it mean, Afilu Hein Idis? Is it not that although the superior quality land is written in the shtar, the Chayv can be collected from the orphans only from Ziburis? Mar says no, that's not what it means. Loi my idis. What does it mean? Idis shvai idis, which means that the Yusemim can collect the Chayv even from the shvai idis. Now, what does it mean shvai idis? It means that the strips from the superior quality land that due to the location cannot be cultivated or guarded, and they have lower market value. So it says Kedarava, he's Ziburius. If a person damages Ziburius, gave him an idis. Shvayidis gave him an business. We asked me, then the Mishnah said, from Nexisem element Ziburis. The Mishnah says, if one who owed money died and his children now yashin this property, so he says the father's chayv can be collected from the property of the orphans only from the ziburis. Boy Rav Ad Devui Bar Ami. So he asked the question, Yisem Shamru, this do we say that Yisemim is Ktanim, or Yafilu Gedalim? Or maybe it means even Gedalim. So Mar explains the two sides. Do we say that the takana that the Chacham instituted for the benefit of the Yisayimim, in which case it could be argued that the Chacham instituted only for Yisayimim but not for Gedalim? Yisayim Shamru Gedalim, or with regard, Avalin is, so that's the question. So the question is, so again, let's just go over the question again. We said, "Einif the boy minay." The boy of Acha, boy of the Acha v'Aram Yisem Shamru. This that the Mishnah said that we only gave him in Aziburis is a ketanim or afil gedalim. And of course, let's study Ashayla. Do we see that Kanti Hida over Rabbanon Gabe Yasmi? Do we see the Chacham instituted to have Rachmanis and Yisayimim? That only there ketanim over Rabbanon B'Gedalim Lei over Rabbanon Oidilmo or no? Or do I say that Aydom Mishum Delay Masik Adaite the Malva the Misley Levim enough the Nixley Kame the Yasmi. That the nail does Nami. Or do I say that since it does not enter a person's mind that the creditor that he should not lend, as perhaps the borrower will die and his property will fall to the orphans, as only if he were to consider that this possibility would it be that this would lock the door before potential borrowers. So therefore, even a gedalim, Tashman, the Tani Abaya, Kishashi Yisem Shem Gedalim, that's gedalim in Tzechel Merkatanim. Dilma, so now the Gemara says, Dilma Hanimili in Yeshua, but perhaps this statement applies only to Yeshua. Because even an adult son is considered like a minor with regards to the father's financial matters. But in regards to Zaburis night, so it says the halacha is that Yisayim Sham Gedalim and Tzarech Mektanim ben the Shua ben the Zaburis. That this that we say that the Yisayim is Gedalim and Tzarech Mektanim ben the Shua ben the Zaburis. Then the Mishnah says any from Nechos Mushabadim b'makom sheyish ben Chayden, that payment of a chayiv or other obligations is not collected from Nechos Mushabadim in a place where there's b'nei Chayden. So what is Allah with regards to liened property that the Baal Chayiv gave to another person as a gift? Is it the halacha that the chayiv is not collected from the chosim shabadim that has been given as a gift to a third party when he still has property or not? She says the Gemara presents two sides to this question. Is the halacha that payment is not collected from the chosim shabadim that has been sold that it was instituted due to the loss of the buyers who would lose the money that they had paid for the property? When it comes to matana, which is no pseit l'koches, or perhaps the halach is as a gift as well. If we're not for some benefit that the donor derives from the recipient, he would not have given him as a gift, and therefore this loss of the recipient is considered to be the loss of the buyer. So, Amalei Mark Shisha Bereda Rav Chizda Rav Ashi Tashma Shrim and Hashem Ratnu Masayan Luzuz Lepeni Rishleish Meis Lepeni Varba Meis Lepeni and Emrim Kol HaKedim B'Shtar Zacha Ein Emrim Kol HaKedim B'Shtar Zacha the Fikach Yatzal Shtar Chayiv gave him a kulin. Now, if a person who's on his deathbed said give 200 dinars to so and so, 300 dinars to so and so, and 400 dinars to so and so, in this case one does not say that whoever appears first in the deed acquires the money first. So the Fikach Zacha Lo Shtar Chayiv. Therefore, if a shtarchev emerged against the one who gave the gifts, and it becomes clear that the money given was the pledge to the creditor, then gave him a kul, and he can collect from all of them. But if he says, give first to this guy, then to this guy, then to this guy, then whoever's listed in the shtar first is zeichel. If he gave an achron, and they gave him shalav, and they gave him shalafanov. So if he does not have enough to repay the chayiv, he collects from the previous one. If he does not have enough to repay the chayiv, he collects from the previous one. Afal gav, so the Gemara says from Afal gav the kamei benis vasrei b'ziburis. This halacha applies even if the property given to the first recipient is benis, and the last one is ziburis. Ziburis gavi benis legavi. And I see from here, I see from here that even when it comes to matana, also the Chacham instituted this as a gift, and the payment of the chayiv is not collected from the chasm mishabadim, that has been given as a gift to a third party when he still has the chasm nechin. Where it says no, but what are we doing with her? We're talking about a chayiv. Tnu kamer, and it says clearly tnu. So where it says tnu b'chayiv. So where it says v'lichzi shtar in demand kadem. So why should the recovery of the chayiv depend upon the wording of the instructions? Let us see whose chayiv no was written first. So where it says the leka shtara, there's no note. It says clearly that whoever appears first in the deed, talking about, it's not a regular shtar chayiv, but like a different type of deed drawn up by the person on his deathbed. Even matana as well, the kasher mai chayiv min achrin and nifsin ala achrin. It means that only the last recipient who really loses at the end. Or the shabbat kula adad, if you want to say the Brisa is referring to a case where all the properties are equal quality.